Good morning, children. Now here this is lesson number 2, New Kings and Kingdoms. So before I start explaining precious and land grants, let us recall what we have learned previously in our class. So we have learned about new dynasties that were emerging from 7th between 12th centuries. Now these dynasties were Rashtrakutas, Gurjara Pratiharas, Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, etc. that emerged from 7th to 12th centuries. So then we have learned about Samantas, how they gained their power and wealth and becoming very powerful, exerted their independence from their overlords. Such one example we have taken that was Dantidurga or Rashtrakuta, how he performed the Hiranyagarbha ritual and considered himself as a ruler. And then in the administration, we have learned about how these kings, rulers got their high-sounding titles like Raja, Maharaja, Adhiraja and Tribhuvan Chakravartin. And finally, how they have collected taxes from various people like cattle gatherers and then traders, etc. And that revenue was used for the establishment and development of their kingdoms. So now we are going to learn about prashastis and land grants. What do you mean by prashasti? Prashasti means here in praise of king. The rulers wanted that their life should be depicted as a great, powerful ruler, as a valiant ruler, as a victorious warriors. So last time we have learned about Samudragupta as a warrior. So this time we are going to learn about Nagabhatta. Now Nagabhatta's prashastis, what it says that how powerful he was. When it is mentioned in the prashasti of Nagabhatta that saying how powerful he was, this consists that how he defeated the many rulers such as Andhra, Malwa, Kannauj, parts of Vidarbha, Vatsa, Matsya, northern rulers, etc. The prashasti of Nagabhatta says that he is a very powerful ruler. So when prashastis were written, the prashastis which were composed by the learned Brahmanas, so when these Brahmanas composed these prashastis, they got rewards from the kings. That rewards were called as land grants. These land grants were recorded on copper plates. Today we have a land recorded in this form. This is called as land property. But in those days the land property was recorded on copper plates. Why, children, do you know that? This is because there was no availability of paper. Paper was available only from 13th century. So these recorded on copper plates were found in olden days. Now we will see that one more account which was written by Kalana. Kalana, to write the prashasti of the kings, he used various sources, various inscriptions. To write an account, he has written a long history of poems on Kashmir, but not like the prashastis of earlier past prashastis which were composed by Brahmins. Sometimes these prashastis may not literally true, but here Kalana, to write an account, he used eyewitness documents. So this shows that how the prashastis which was composed by the learned Brahmanas, sometimes it may be true, but sometimes it not be true. Then let us now come to warfare for wealth. What do you mean by warfare, children, here? Warfare means here conflict between the kings. When they attack on each other, when they annex their kingdoms, when they capture each other's areas. Now one important prized area was Kannauj. This is very important prized place in the Ganga valley. Though the new dynasty's kings had their basic Pacific region, but they always tried to control others' areas. So here, as this Kannauj was prized area, always Gurjara Pratihara, Rashtrakuta and Pala dynasties tried to control over Kannauj. So as these three parties were involved in this long drawn conflict of war, the historians call them as tripartite struggle. Then why always they wanted to conquer Kanuj? This is because this place is located in the northern plains, in the Ganga valley. This place is very fertile. Here, the soil is used for the cultivation of crops. Moreover, the water is also used for various activities. So, for this purpose, always Gurjara Pratihara, Rashtrakuta and Palas fought for this prized area. And there were many other rulers. Always they wanted to show their power. Always they wanted to show how great they were in the region. So for this purpose, they always constructed beautiful temples, forts, palaces, bazaars, etc. Sometimes they also attacked on each other for wealth, because this wealth they used for establishment and development of their own kingdoms. One such example we can say that Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni from Afghanistan, he ruled from 997 to 1030. Almost he invaded number of times to subcontinent, and he also took control over Central Asia, Iran and northwestern part of the subcontinent. His target was only on wealthy temples. So, Somnath temple in Gujarat, he targeted and took away immense wealth from the temple and constructed a beautiful city at Ghazni. So in this way, these rulers, what they have done? Looted, plundered and took away the immense wealth from the subcontinent and made their own place very beautiful. That means their own kingdoms, regions, very beautiful. One more ruler that was involved in the warfare were Chamanas. The Chamanas were also known as Chauvans. Chauvans extended their control over Delhi, Ajmer in the north and in the east. They also opposed the Chalukyas of Gujarat and the Gandavalas of western Uttar Pradesh. The best Chamana ruler was Prithviraj III. He was known as the best ruler of Chauhan. He defeated Muhammad of Ghori in the year 1191, but in the year 1192 he lost to him. So here what we are seeing, that children, in the warfare, these rulers always attacked on each other to capture the wealth, and that wealth they took away, and the wealth was used for the construction temples again, and they used this wealth for construction forts, palaces, for the development, for the establishment, or sometimes this wealth was also used in fighting wars. Next topic we are going to learn, that is of Cholas. So read textbook, children. Thank you.